Hi, my name is Justin Pasconi, and my two audience members are my younger brother as well as my younger sister. Thank you both. Althea Gibson was born on August 25th, 1927, to a family of sharecroppers, Daniel and Annie Bell Gibson. The family had lived in Silver, South Carolina, but Daniel would soon take his wife and child to North Harlem, New York, in search of better opportunities. According to Shay Dawson of National Women's History Museum 2024, Gibson was the oldest of four, with three sisters and one brother who entered the picture following the family's big move. Gibson recognized her love of tennis early in life, growing up playing a variety of sports with kids in her neighborhood. This is where she spent most of her time. However, when it came to academics, she began to skip classes as early as 12 years old, as reported by Black History November 9, 2009. Gibson was a kid who loved sports and took a special liking to ping pong. She would even participate in tournaments that the local recreation department would hold. Soon after, Gibson was introduced to the Harlem River tennis courts in 1941, and this is where her amazing tennis journey began. The Greater Wilmington Sports Hall of Fame 2007 has stated that Gibson was named to the International Tennis Hall of Fame in 1974, the Women's Sports Hall of Fame in 1980, as well as the Black Athletes Hall of Fame in 1974. But it was a long while before all of this. Her athletic greatness truly started when she won a local tournament only a year after picking up a racket. Sponsored by the American Tennis Association, that was established by an African American organization in order to promote as well as sponsor tournaments for Black players. Two more of these ATA titles followed in 1944 and 1945, and after losing one title in 1946, Gibson then went on to win 10 straight championships from 1947 to 1956. Year after year and title after title, she gained more and more recognition for her talents as well as her winning spirit. Her success in these ATA tournaments even paved her way for her to attend college on a sports scholarship. According to Florida Women's Hall of Fame 1971, Althea Gibson was a 1953 graduate of Florida A&M University in Tallahassee. While she did end up graduating, she still struggled to get by in the school, even considering leaving sports altogether at one point to join the U.S. Army. Besides academic struggles, a good deal of her frustration came from the fact that the world of tennis was so closed off to her. As a sport that was white dominated and white managed, the sport was completely segregated in the U.S., in much the same way that the world around it was. 1950 was the start of desegregating the sport when Alicia Mabel, a former tennis number one herself, had wrote a piece in a big tennis magazine criticizing her own sport for denying a player of Gibson's caliber to compete in the world's best tournaments, simply because of the color of her skin. Mabel's article began to gain traction, and in 1951, Gibson had made history, becoming the first African American ever to be invited to play at Wimbledon. In 1955, stated by the U.S. Open, August 26, 2019, Gibson traveled throughout Southeast Asia on a U.S. Department-sponsored Goodwill Tennis Tour, and in 1956 becomes the first African American to win the French Championships. Each accomplishment is a racial barrier being broken down, which leads to the opening of the space for more African American players. And in 1957, Gibson became the first African American to win Wimbledon and the U.S. National Championships. Not only is Gibson advocating for and opening the space for more Black players, but she is doing it on the biggest stages possible by showcasing her talents. After retiring from amateur tennis in 1958, she began playing golf and finished her autobiography, eventually becoming the first African American touring pro of the Ladies Professional Golf Association, stated by Althea Gibson in I Always Wanted to Be Somebody, 1958. Throughout this speech, you continue to hear how Althea Gibson is first. Not just the place she got in tennis, but the first to walk a path, what seemed to be a path unavailable to African Americans, destroying barriers and policies along her walk, not only in one sport, but in two. Her presence in both tennis and golf allowed for other black athletes, both male and female, to come after her and have the opportunities to compete on the same stage as their fellow white athletes, as one community and not one that is segregated. To this day, there are several black athletes, male and female, who participate in these sports freely and are accepted thanks to the work of the amazing athlete activist Althea Gibson.